Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Ibrahim Hanbal. I'm a teacher handling 3Is, and in this video, we'll be going over problem analysis tools, specifically the why analysis. So, why analysis is a method meant to identify the root causes of a problem by asking the question why. The idea is that you keep iterating upon the question so that you can try and determine what is the root cause or the specific cause of an issue. Okay, so one variant of the why analysis is known as 5 whys, as you can see here. It makes use of 5 whys in order to determine the root cause. The idea being that you will ask why 5 times so that by the fifth why, you will know now what are the root causes of that specific issue. So for our example, that is what we'll be using for demonstrating why analysis. Now, for the problem that we have identified, we'll use the same problem as with the business process reengineering and cause and effect analysis. So that is regarding improper garbage disposal. So how do we do why analysis on this issue? Well, we start with the first why. So here, in the first why, you will simply place the general issue or the general problem you're trying to address. So in this case, there is a large amount of waste that is improperly disposed in Baguio. So here, this is the general issue that we would like to determine the root causes of. So how does why analysis work in this case? Well, simply put, we ask why. Why is there a large amount of waste that is improperly disposed in Baguio? Well, based on that question, there are a number of reasons. Let's try to list a few of them. So to do this, we'll just draw an arrow here pointing to our first why answer. So let us place it here under the second why. So why is it that there's a large amount of waste being disposed? Well, one answer to that is waste is not efficiently treated. So it is not properly managed or treated due to, let's say, segregation or due to um, improper disposal practices. So that could be the reason. So waste is not efficiently treated. Now, this is not the only answer to why there's a large amount of waste. So we will need to connect some more arrows to list down some more answers as to why uh, waste is improperly disposed in Baguio. So to do that, we'll draw a line from here going down. Let's draw that again. There we go. Let's draw it here. That should be enough. And then let us draw some additional arrows pointing to our other answers. Oops. That's our second answer, our second cause, and our third cause. So let us try to give a few more answers as to why there's a large amount of waste in Baguio. The second could be that the population of the city is rising. So simply put, there is a large number of people living here and that is continuously growing every year. So that is one of the reasons why there's a large amount of waste. Obviously, the more people, the more waste being generated. Now, let us try to list another answer. So one other reason could be more tourists are visiting the city every year. Obviously, more and more people around the world, the population globally is rising, so we also have more and more people who would like to visit Baguio to experience the different festivals and events here in the city. So these are now our three reasons. So from our general problem, we have identified three probable causes as to why waste is improperly disposed in Baguio. Now, do we end it here? No. We will now further narrow down the causes here. So we'll try to ask again the question why. So let's start with the first one. Why is waste not efficiently treated? So what could be the reason why waste is not efficiently treated or managed? Well, the main reason could be waste sometimes has to be sorted before being treated. Occasionally, there will be times when wastes have to be sorted. In other words, the disposed garbage has to be sorted into biodegradable, non-biodegradable, and so on. So that could be a reason why it's taking a bit of time in order to before it is actually disposed of or managed. So that could be our answer to why waste is not efficiently treated. Let's go to the next one. The population of the city is rising. Why? What could be the issue? So the issue here can be the cause could be that more migrants and students come to Baguio or visit Baguio to study or settle. So this could be our main cause. More and more people are coming to Baguio to live here or to study. So that is the reason why the population is rising. Now let's go to the third one. More tourists are visiting the city every year. Why? What could be the reason? Let us try to answer that. Well, the answer could be this. More events and festivals are expanding to reach out or to reach and tap into more tourists. So, in other words, many of the festivals are trying to accommodate more and more tourists, more and more visitors, both outside Baguio and outside the Philippines, in order to bring them to view and to enjoy the different events and whatnot that we have here in Baguio City. So, this is now our third level of why. So, we now have these three um, causes as to why there's a larger amount of waste in Baguio. Are we done here? Not yet. We still have two more levels. So let's continue. Waste sometimes has to be sorted before being treated. Why? Let's try to answer that. So let us oops. Okay. Waste has to be sometimes treated. What could be the issue? Why does waste have to be treated before or have to be sorted before being treated? Well, it could be that waste is not segregated when being dumped. In other words, dumped. In other words, when let's say it is this when waste is disposed of in the dumping sites, it is just mixed together, or it is just put together in one bag. There is no separation of non-biodegradable or biodegradable waste. Everything is just mashed together. That's why, in order for the waste to be properly managed and disposed of, it has to be first sorted before it can be uh, uh, brought to the dumping sites and whatnot. So that is our first why. The second why. We have more migrants and students visit Baguio to study or settle. Why? Why do so many people visit Baguio to study or settle? Well, the reason could be that Baguio or um, Baguio City is, or let's just say Baguio. Baguio has many job opportunities and avenues for education. So there are many places where you can get jobs and there are many avenues where you can learn. So that is the reason why many people come here to study or they come here to uh, get a or to make a living. That is for our second why. What about this one? More events and festivals are expanding to reach more tourists or to tap into more tourists. What could be the reason for that? Why is the question we're asking. Well, the reason could be this. Local event planners, event so these are the people, in other words, who are organizing and planning out the festivals and other events. Local event planners and let's say LGUs are trying to increase their profits. increase profits from more customers outside Baguio. There. So obviously, more people who visit, let's say, the festivals here, more people who visit the different events means more people likely to spend money on the local shops, local stores, and whatnot. So that means more profits. Okay, so that's now our fourth set of whys. Now we will go to the last set, which is the root causes, why number five. So by this point, you will now try to determine the root causes of why there's a large amount of improperly disposed waste in Baguio. So as you notice here, we are getting more and more specific as we go down each level of why. So let's go over this one. Waste is not segregated when being dumped. Why? What's the issue here? Well, it could be that residents, transients, and tourists are not properly disposing their waste. So that could be more or less the main issue. Residents, transients, tourists are not segregating their waste. They are not sorting their waste. They're just dumping everything. So that could be the reason why, when it's collected in the dumping site or the dumping areas, the personnel who have to handle the waste are having to sort them themselves because they are not being uh, segregated at the source. So that is our first root cause. What about our second root cause? So Baguio has many job opportunities and avenues for education. Why is that the case? So the reason could be that Baguio has several popular universities which attracts learners and teachers. Learners, teachers, and other parties outside Baguio. So this is now our second root cause. Baguio has several popular universities, schools, etc., learning centers, which attracts learners, teachers, and other parties. So in the case of people who come to study, we have our learners, obviously. And for people who come for work, a lot of people who work here are teachers and other parties. For example, schools, they don't only have teachers, they have admin staff and accounting staff and lawyers, etc. So it's not only teachers who come here for work, it is other professionals. So that is why many people come here for looking for a job. So that is our second root cause. Now, let's go to our third root cause. So, local event planners and LGUs are trying to increase their profits. Why? Why are they trying to increase their profits? What could be the use for that? What is the reason why? Well, it could be that the increased funding and profits from tourism will help the locals and LGUs with private and government projects. There we go. So, obviously, as more and more money flows into Baguio, more and more locals will be able to set up their business, manage their business, expand. Many people here will be able to make a living. Those people who work in the tourism industry, for example, and related industries, and the LGUs can use some of the funding that they get in order to fund government projects, roads, healthcare, education, etc. So that is the idea here. So these are now our three main causes or root causes. So this is how the why analysis works. You keep asking the question why until you get to the specific causes of a certain problem or certain issue. Okay, so in your cases, I would like you to do the same thing so that it's a bit more consistent and you all will be able to try and narrow down the actual causes of an issue. I recommend using the 5 why analysis, same as what I did here. So you start off with the first why being the um, general problem, and then you end with the fifth why, which is now your root cause. So again, you can use, there are other versions of why analysis, but this is what I recommend since it is fairly straightforward. You simply ask the question why until you determine now the root causes. As for the number of causes here or lines, I recommend around 3 to 5. So you can have, in our example here, we have 3, so this is fine. If you want to have more, I suggest going up to 5. If there is more than 5, the tendency is that your, let's say, answer will look very crowded. There's too much text, too much to keep track of. So for simplicity's sake, you can do either around 3 to 5 whys or set of whys so that you can pinpoint what are the uh, root causes, the real root causes of an issue. Okay, so hopefully this video has been informative. Again, as always, thank you very much for watching and have a good day.